This movie was terrible. Its new rating
Awful.
is 2.5.
It's a 369 now. Yeah, baby
369.
line. This review's
Well,
through the
that happened
window.
through the walls. The quantum realm on mine. Just kidding.
All right, we're cutting the recording there. Hello and welcome to May the Review Be With You with Nick and Joe. I'm Joe.
I'm Nick.
And today we are discussing Antman and the Wasp, Quantumania, the kickoff to Phase 5, Marvel's Phase 5, that is. And we've got a lot to say about this movie. But before just jump into our thoughts, I want to just make a quick note of, I guess, everybody else's thoughts. So just like looking at this movie, like after opening weekend, which, you know, you and I both saw it on opening weekend, which, you know, makes us dedicated fans of the series. There were reviews coming out before this movie was officially open or officially premiering, and reviewers tanked this movie. I think right now on Rotten Tomatoes, the reviewer score is 47%. Nick, would you like to guess what the audience score is?
95%.
You're close. It's about 85%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the reviewers are idiots, obviously. I mean,
I feel like there's such a culture now for reviewers to just hate on Marvel films just to get someone to click on their review. Like
it's
that's
just
all
what
it is
happens.
now.
Like Rotten Tomatoes has been around for so long, and like they have to do something to make news and headlines or whatever. And you know, they're just like they're not being unbiased. Like they have shit they want people to read their stuff. Like, you know, and they're not gonna like. No one's going to click on their website if it has a 95%. You know what I mean?
Like, you know, like if you're gonna hate bullshit the film, though, I guess like at least like bring up some good points, because like as far as like most of the reviews that I was looking at, they're really nitpicky about stuff that like A, I don't agree with, and B, I feel like wasn't actually present. Like I told you about some of them. Like one was the movie, for taking place in a microcosm universe, it's not weird enough.
Was that a Rotten Tomatoes review?
Yeah, that was a Rotten Tomatoes review.
I'm never using that website again. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right, like how much
could not have been weirder
to be. It was pretty out there.
We got the Killer Bee back, but he just was a big head with small legs. Like that alone is weird enough. Like, my God.
Well, I do want to talk about MODOK.
We're going to talk about MODOK, unfortunately, too much, because, you know, that was maybe my only critique of the movie was like I could have used less of him, but
I think that was
based
actually
on the climax
of the
film. It makes sense that, like, you know, he needed to be in there more because they had a whole character arc for him. Anyway, you're stalling. Joe has to give us a summary of Antman Quantumania in 10 seconds. So we're going to start the clock here. I'm going to count him down.
Wait, is it 10 seconds? I thought it was 15 seconds.
I'm pretty sure it's 10 seconds.
Ah, damn it. All right.
And if it's not, then, oh, well, I screwed you. But
I get a learning curve if I'm right.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I'll count down from 3. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Scott Lang is famous now for saving the world, but his family kind of hates him for it. Cassie opens up a portal accidentally to the quantum realm, and everybody gets sucked in. They meet Kang. Kang is bad. They fight Kang.
Stop. Jesus. I mean, you spent way too much time on Scott Lang being famous. Dude, you went Scott Lang is famous. Cassie opens up a portal to the quantum realm. That was 8 seconds. I mean, there's like...
Nothing else mattered, right? Nothing else actually happened, right? I think I hit the major point there. Kang is bad. 10 seconds is so fast. Oh my God.
Kang is the man.
All right, how'd I do though? Give me a grade. I think I hit all the fine points there.
You hit that was really bad. That was a D, maybe. Give you
I didn't study for the assignment. I didn't actually watch the movie. I just saw the trailer.
That's what the review sounded like.
So, Nick, would you like to give us like a more proper summation of what this movie actually is?
Oh my goodness. It's absolute pandemonium is what this movie is. The whole film essentially takes place in the quantum realm, which was really cool. We get to meet Kang the Conqueror for the first time. Well, Kang the Conqueror as Kang the Conqueror for the first time, rather.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair statement.
He who remains previously in Loki. Antman and the Wasp and Scott Lang's daughter Cassie and Pym, and the Pyms all get trapped in the quantum realm.
Like that, the Pims, Hank and the Pims. It sounds like a band.
Hank and the Pyms,
Cassie and the Pims.
Cassie and the Pyms, which I think that was another actress for Cassie, right? Then
it was, yeah, it was a new actress.
Yeah, mm-hmm. She was good. They all get trapped in the quantum realm, and they all find each other, including Kang the Conqueror, and all hell breaks loose, and it was just amazing.
By the way, just as a quick side note here, I have to say, you've used the name Kang the Conqueror like several times and not once accidentally called him Kang, and I'm really proud of you.
Oh, bro, I'm all on it now. I got him. It's Kang the Conqueror. It's not even like, it's like second nature now. I will never say the other word again. And I can't say the other word again for fear of saying the other word again.
Touche.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Like, he
okay,
is
so like, hang on. So like, I do want to talk about Kang.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just want to bring some order to this.
Yeah, keep the order.
So I want to try and break down this movie differently than we have in the past. Because like in the past we usually go chapter by chapter.
Right.
I think it'd be kind of fun actually to go character by character and like talk about each person's journey, because there's like quite a bit of character movement in this movie. Start with our star. Let's start with Scott. So dude, Paul Rudd's just always fun to watch on screen, which is half the reason why I don't understand the hate reviews. But yeah, I think Scott is awesome to watch in this movie. Something in the past that I've not that I haven't liked it, but like something I just haven't seen of Scott is that he's like a capable warrior, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a noticeable difference in this movie. Like he's really become like an expert at being Ant-Man. Like there's that whole scene between him and Cassie about what is it? Jump, click, to do like the punch thing. And like we get to see him be an absolute savage during the climax in trying to beat the hell out of Kang. And I don't know, that was just really cool to see. Finally, like really watching him come into his own. Because like, you know, like him being an Avenger, like I don't think there's ever been an argument against it, but like out of all the Avengers, like he's probably the one I never took seriously,
right,
until this film. Like he really kicks ass.
He's definitely a badass, but I will say the one caveat to the end scene there is that Kang was severely he didn't have like any of his tech, because the ants like completely, like that was a whole, we'll get to that, but the ants got rid of all of his tech. But what was cool about that is I don't think I realized until that part of the movie that like his power is purely like futuristic tech. Right, like he's from such a future that the tech is so insanely advanced that like he is like the most powerful thing that we've seen, basically, and it has to do with technology, essentially, right?
Right, like he's
like so cool. Like
he's a more upgraded version of Tony, right? Like that's what makes Tony special.
Like it, but and not even upgraded, like iteration like 10,000. That is like
right.
It's
basically magic at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, but then you see him stripped down, and he's still very powerful, even when he basically doesn't have any powers to use, which is like terrifying, right? Like it's not just tech. It's like, he's still. But that was a fun battle at the end.
Would
obviously.
So we get to explore this world through characters who have not been there before, right? And there's a lot of world building that's done really quickly in this film. What'd you think of the overall like landscape of the quantum realm?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. It was so well done. They showed us like 3 or 4 different little pockets of different little like towns or cities, within it, and like that was really cool. Marvel has like they have just some great like set designers, man, like with like these worlds, right? I mean, in Wakanda Forever, we saw it with the underwater world, right? Like how freaking beautiful it looked, and really like cool, and just like believable in a way, right? For what like an underwater city could potentially look like with this kind of power. And then you see these little cities in crazy worlds in the quantum realm, and then you see what Kang has built, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so badass. Like if like there were basically no rules, like what would stuff look like? And they really do a great job with like what the sets look like and things like that. I mean, I'm always impressed, and even more so in like this quantum realm where it's just like it's supposed to be weird, but also like just like I don't know, I guess authentic looking is kind of what the comes to mind, even though I don't really know. Like you to tell me like what was it look like beforehand, I probably couldn't tell you, but like when you see it, and then on screen it's just like so great.
Hey, your digital artists, Marvel, they do a great job.
Yeah, they're fantastic. So good.
Yeah, I guess in just getting to explore everything, this is one way we get to see like how some of our characters have changed too. Cassie has changed significantly, and just starting with where we pick up with her, um, getting out of jail. Scott has to take care of his convict daughter, like father, like daughter.
Well,
a little different.
The only difference being Cassie's being like trying to be helpful
heroic.
And be good, whereas like her dad was just a degenerate until he became Ant-Man.
So that being the case, I loved that in the beginning when we get Cassie's story, we find out why she was arrested in this protest, and it was to help those who were being displaced
right
after returning from the blip.
Yeah,
which I think there's been complaint that there hasn't been enough handling or dealing with the fallout of the blip, right? So I like that we haven't forgotten it.
Right.
We're still dealing with the ramifications of that.
Well,
there's still big problems going on. Yeah, I'm glad that we got it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I always want to call him Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's Captain Falcon.
He is Captain Falcon.
It's fun.
But yeah. In either case, like whether we've missed opportunities or not, it is nice to see that it has not been totally forgotten. It's still coming up. Cassie in general, I really liked Cassie in this film. I thought they used her pretty well. I do have one gripe a little later. It's not even that much of a gripe. And honestly, it's not even Cassie, because I think the actress does a great job with this. It's just, I think the writing is a little, it's either the writing or the editing. I don't know. But toward the climax of the film, when we are trying to take down Kang, we get the big plan, which is to try and hijack his signal and then rally the different peoples of the quantum realm against him, because there are more of them than there are of him. And if we rally together, there might be a chance that we can beat him. And like, I like this on paper. I think that makes sense. And like, that's her whole speech, right? I think the speech doesn't work for me, mostly because I didn't feel inspired by her speech, so I don't see why they would.
Yeah, you're right about this. That was I was like
yeah. and like I don't know, they felt like they were fighting him already, like, or that they were at least willing to. So like, why was this the catalyst? I don't know, it felt like something was missing. They didn't feel like a broken people. Like, they felt like, yeah, we're gonna kick his ass at some point.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. But that, and the speech, just part of it was like the speech just really wasn't like motivating. I don't know why.
Or like, give me something else other than the generic, like, let's fight together. Like, come on, how many times have we heard the Braveheart speech? Like, come on. Like,
or they could have had the other girl, the badass fighter who was like holding off the people while Cassie was making the speech. Like, they could have had that reversed, because clearly Cassie like was able to handle herself in a battle later on with MODOK. Like, I think up until that point we weren't sure if she was like going to be able to fight at all, but like she ended up being able to. So like, why couldn't you reverse those roles? I feel like that other actress, the other role, like rounding up the troops, would have been better than Cassie, because Cassie just got there a week ago.
This is actually a great point. Yeah, she doesn't really know anything about these people.
Why was she the one trying to rile them up? Like, it should have been the other girl, who's like clearly battle tested and has respect of the people anyway. So that didn't make sense. And they tried to tell you during the film. Cassie was like, "No, why am I doing this?" And the fighter was like, I don't even know the name of the character, but she was like, "No, I have to fight these guys. You talk, or you tell them, or whatever." I was like, "Well, that was a piss poor reason. Like, just reverse."
Yeah, and actually, like, this is a great point, because like you said, like, we didn't really know if Cassie could fight, and like, I understand, like, we explore that through the MODOK scene, but like, I don't know. I feel like this actually would have been a good warm up for the MODOK scene. Like she gets to
Right.
explore like her own
Right.
abilities while
It's
she's
much
defending this
easier to
character.
defeat the guys dressed the same, than discover you can fight against like the guy who's literally called the Hunter,
Right,
like,
right.
who's supposed to be like the biggest killing machine in the quantum realm, but like that's
Foiled
how
by
she
a
figures it out.
child.
That doesn't make sense. It would have been more believable if she figures it out in that scene and the other
Right.
person is making the
And
scene.
then kicks his ass. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, 100%. Yeah, that's God. That scene can be fixed so easily just by
Yeah.
switching that.
Well,
Yeah.
Marvel, we're here. You know where to find us. Just send us an email, and next time you have a script, we'll just double check it.
Yes. Yes, please. Mr. Feige, we're here. May the review be with you. Let's talk about Janet real quick. As you had talked about in your summation that I neglected, Janet's got secrets, and we get to find out. Yeah, big time secrets. We get to find out what happened to Janet in the quantum realm, which, weirdly enough, this has been a question mark since the first Ant-Man movie about what happened to Janet. It's neat that we get this payoff at the end of the trilogy here. So this is probably, I don't have many gripes with this movie. I think ultimately, and I'll get my score at the end, but I think ultimately this movie's fine. Reviewers either suck or they're being too hard on it. I thought Janet was really annoying in this film. I honestly do not like how cagey her character is written off to be. Like, I'm fine with her in the beginning being very like, no, like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I'm very guilty about what happened. Let's please move on. But we're here. We're now in this realm. We're trapped here, and we need to like figure out a way out of here. And like, she's still like not talking to Hope, and like, I get the reasons why, but like, I just felt like the film harks on this so much that I got to the point where I'm like, Janet, say something for the love of God.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah. I was just done with it.
I think her character was like really badass, but also like in it, the flashbacks were so cool. Like to see Kang, like we got to see him like vulnerable before we actually got to see him as the conqueror, right? In this film, right? Because like he had to rely on someone else to help him. And we got to see him like, and in a way, like be manipulative without powers kind of, right? Mm-hmm. So like, that was kind of really cool. And then we get to see him like become Kang the Conqueror, like when Janet helps him and they fix the ship and all this stuff. But she was so annoying. Like once you got there and you're stuck there, like you immediately should be like, okay,
it's time
we're screwed. This is why.
There's a guy.
Follow
I pissed
my
him
lead.
off.
Follow my lead, that kind of thing. Like, and instead they give us this like run around. They just needed her to fill them in earlier once they got down there,
Yeah. I think I could forgive it if we see Janet do anything that tries to atone for like what she's done. Yeah. But like they really don't go anywhere with Janet's character after like the reveal. Yeah. Like she talks to Kang and like that's basically it. Which I'm disappointed about this for two reasons. Number one, so for the record, I do not like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that I've seen that movie once and I will probably never willingly watch it again unless I am purposely trying to go through all of the MCU films, right? I'm just not entertained by that film. However, something I do like about that film though is I like that the name Ant-Man and the Wasp refers to two different pairs of characters, right? Scott and Hope, but then it also refers to Hank and Janet in that film.
True.
Yeah. So I really like that. And I felt like at first when I was going into this film and that we had both those pairs again, especially like they were going to all be involved in this action sequence toward the end of the film. I thought we were going to see a better representation of that, Ant-Man and the Wasp. We're going to watch both pairs take on those roles in different ways and watch them kick butt. Thought that would be neat. But that's not how that goes down, right? Janet ultimately flat in the climax. Second reason why I don't like this. So in that film that I just referenced that I don't like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, toward the end of that film, we find out that Janet, I don't know if you remember this, we find out that Janet's time in the quantum realm has left her altered and changed, and she appears to have some sort of weird powers. If you recall, she's able to stabilize Ghost into their realm, right? Just based on her exposure to the quantum realm, she
Oh,
has
I
some kind
totally
of
forgot about
strange power,
that.
right? Yeah,
I
everyone did.
totally forgot about that. I
Everyone
totally forgot
forgot.
about Ghost. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So like you've established that she has some sort of kind of power. Why aren't we using? You didn't even create a rule or a standard for it, so the sky's the limit as to like what the
Yeah.
heck she can do.
Yeah, or at least say like why she can't use it in the quantum realm. Like maybe she only
Right.
got it because she was out of the realm. Like,
Sure.
yeah, God, that's a
Sure.
big miss. That's
Right. Right.
annoying.
Swing it. Right. This is what pisses me off about Janet. Like it's
Yeah,
just a huge missed
so annoying.
opportunity.
I know we're still just on the character thing, but like it bothered me that with how powerful Kang is and how like foreign this quantum realm was to most of the characters, besides all of the characters besides Janet that got trapped there. It honestly annoyed me a little bit that like nobody died. Like, how does nobody die in this film? Like, out of the main five, like Hank or Janet, like, are the obvious ones to go, right? Like, and there was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna kill Ant-Man. Like, maybe Scott's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be interesting, right? Or at the very least, like I thought that Hope and Scott were gonna be trapped
Right. Yeah.
for a
Same.
little while, right? But then, and I was like, oh,
It's
this is gonna be really
immediately
interesting.
rectified.
But then it's immediately rectified. And I was like, man, I don't know about that. Like, and I guess like it's better to immediately rectify it now than like have a couple movies go by and then the beginning of another movie is them immediately rectifying it, right? Like, I guess that's better than doing it that way if that's what the
I
other
guess
option might have
actually
been.
to your point, yeah, we've seen that, right? Like we've
Right.
seen Scott
Yeah.
get immediately rectified at the
Right.
beginning of Endgame.
Right, exactly. So like it's better than that happening, right? Because like the alternative is like, oh, they're just in the quantum realm forever, which like that doesn't, I guess that can't be the case. Unless like they're not going to show up, but they can't be the heroes, and the reason that like everything ends up working out later on again, right? Like so I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. I just felt like they missed on like a bigger like climax of like a tragedy or something, you know, because Kang is just so powerful. Like how it is like I mean, I guess no one won, right? I mean, but and I guess no one was lost either, so that's why no one died. So
you actually bring up a point here now
like
that
they kind of
I
say
can't
that,
overlook.
but I don't know.
I didn't think about this until just now. So Cassie's big problem with Scott in this movie in the beginning is that she's always hero worshipped him, and she no longer sees him as acting like a hero. She sees him as acting in self-interest and not doing anything heroic when there's still work that needs to be done, right? And that's one of the reasons why she wants to stay in the quantum realm, because there's work that needs to be done there. And having Scott not have like that hero moment toward the end, like, I mean, he does, right? He does make a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice without any actual consequence, right? Because it's not,
Right.
it is immediately rectified. So it doesn't really matter. So why not have that moment, like where he does get to show his daughter, like, I am the hero that you do see me as. And unfortunately, like your actions did have consequences. The hero that you wanted your dad to be, well, he is now, and now you don't have a dad.
I really thought that they were gonna like, and it would have been a really like this is why Kang is so dangerous, right? Because like, and in the beginning of the film when he's talking to Scott through the jail cell, he's like, "Have I killed you before?" Like, I don't remember. There's been so many, and like Thor or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's such a
you the
badass.
one with the hammer.
You're the one with the hammer, like so insanely cool. And like, so like this guy's killed Avengers like time and time again, like, and they want to set it. I feel like they just, the more I think about it, like the more I think that he should have died. Ant-Man should have died, like to really set up like the seriousness of this character, like of Kang, not just the Conqueror, but like all the other variants, like whatever, missed opportunity. I'm sure it's obviously going to come down the road.
I'm definitely
right?
on your side about that.
They want Kang to be, the Kang variants are supposed to be like the most unstoppable and worst thing that the MCU's ever seen. And so far, none of them have, we haven't seen them kill anyone yet. Like any like Avenger, right? Like Thanos killed half of the Avengers.
I mean,
Like,
we're told that Conqueror Kang actually like wipes out universes
has
and timelines, right? Has
right,
right, but we don't see it, and I
until
agree
we
with you.
see it, it's like, okay,
He's
like
not threatening.
this guy is a badass. Like he's totally got insane power. There's other timelines where he's killed a bunch of people, but like on our timeline, the timeline that like we're dealing with, like that these movies are about, we
Right.
haven't
So like,
seen it.
so
So like,
to that point, like I think you got, I think you're cooking with gas there, just in the comparison to Thanos, right? Because Thanos, like, you know, we get a build up for him, and then we finally get that intro in Infinity War where, you know, the ship
yeah,
is completely decimated, the Asgardians
right,
are wasted, and like if
right,
that weren't enough, we get to watch the Hulk, the strongest character, strongest
right,
Avenger,
right,
get his butt handed to him by this guy.
right,
And right then and there, that establishes how scary this monster is, right?
right.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, like Kang, like we're told over and over again, he is the boogeyman. He is the monster in the closet, and I think they give him a good intro, but it's not sold on screen. Not entirely,
Yeah, like
not the same way
yeah.
Thanos
I
is.
mean, I think he is one of the baddest people we've ever seen, and I absolutely love him. And I guess part of the issue is that like they're trying to say that like his other variants are worse, right? Sure.
I don't think it's that they are worse. I think it's just that their actions lead to the end of everything, right? But he
Right,
is supposed to be the worst of the worst.
right.
He's supposed to be the worst one, right?
But who's
And
the
that's,
one? But who? Which is the variant that actually is he who remains?
I mean, he's who remains, right? He's the last.
That
He's the last
right,
one.
right. But
um,
like, you know what I mean? And that's the crazy part, right? Like that's so that it's such a time loop. It's amazing. Uh, I was hoping, like, I think he was a total badass, but I think that the resolution of the film is just, I think it leaves a little bit to be desired, right? With
mm-hmm.
how powerful Kang is, because he doesn't end up killing anybody. Like he didn't have to win again. Like Scott was saying, like I don't have to win. We just both have to lose. Kang didn't die. Ant-Man didn't die. At the end of the day, the movie kind of just like ends where it started, right? Like Kang's just a little bit further inside the quantum realm, but he's not dead. All right, who else should we talk about? I mean, we're kind of already talking about Kang. We can't
Can
we
we talk
can't
about
help
Hank?
but
Can
talk
we talk
about
about
Hank.
Hank?
Yeah, yes, let's talk about Hank because we also have to talk about Hank's ants. So
Yes, yes, we do.
let's do that.
Okay, so Hank, I love Michael Douglas.
Yes,
He's a treasure.
yes,
For me in this movie, he's a bit of a standout. Which is funny because, like, you know, for the first like half of the movie, I think it's just him asking questions of the like, what
yeah,
the hell is going on?
right,
Like that's literally like his kind of line for like half of the movie.
right,
But even with that, like Douglas is just such a fun presence. Um, Especially that moment when they're on the ship. He's got to learn how to fly this weird ship. And they're having this discussion about like who Janet has had sex with, and then he reveals, you know, I've had sex with someone too.
right, right.
So her name was, what was it, Karen? He's some generic white girl
No, I
name,
don't think it was Karen, but it was something totally generic. Like,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Anyway,
the Caitlin.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so like I think Michael Douglas, Hank really like comes in clutch here. And you know, I don't know if you saw it before he talked about it. I did pick up on like when he kept doing the ear thing.
yeah,
Um, I thought the ants would come into play later, but I didn't think that's what that was. I wasn't sure what was going on there. Um, but yeah, that was neat. I truly loved that. That was how we could get Hank involved in the climax. As somebody who has always, I mean, he's the original Ant-Man, right?
right,
So it was neat to like get him to be that role
yeah,
again. I mean, nothing really too much to say there. I mean, as far as character arc goes, he's got a few good jokes on Scott, but then he's got
yeah,
a moment where he seems to really love Scott, which I think that's a neat thing to see because, like, I don't think we've ever had a moment with Hank and Scott to establish where they are in their relationship.
right.
Um, so I don't know. I enjoyed that. Like, it's quick, but it's the book part, right? Where he says, "You read my book," and he's like, "I read every word."
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That
it
was cool.
quickly establishes that relationship.
I definitely, yeah, he had a good, just like you said, Michael Douglas classic, like solid character, Hank Pym all the way through. Like,
Very cool.
not much else to say there, really, right?
Not
Like, no
much. Yeah,
complaints,
pretty
no
simple.
notes, no
No
notes.
notes. Uh, you mentioned Hope. not the character, but the concept. But I would
Yeah,
like to talk about the character.
sure.
I like Hope. Just as a character on screen, I like watching Hope kick ass. I like that there's a difference between the level of fighting between Scott and Hope, that
Mhm.
between the two of them, even with Scott being like a brawler in this movie and like really kicking butt, uh, between the two of them, Hope is the true warrior, right? Like she knows how
Right.
to fight and she does it well. And I like on screen that we can always tell that Hope kicks ass. Hope is another one who I feel is wasted in this movie.
Yeah.
Like what is Hope's arc? What does Hope do? I mean, she definitely there's a moment at the end where,
Right.
or I guess two moments at the end where Hope, is used. But I don't know. Overall, feels like we're not taking advantage of this character, especially since she's a title character. Ant-Man and
Yeah.
the Wasp. Feels like we're not seeing a lot of the Wasp. Do you want to talk about
Well,
MODOK now?
yeah, let's just get it over with. Let's talk about MODOK. All right.
This
Really, like, there's not much to say except like it's what a ridiculous for everyone who says the quantum realm wasn't real enough. Like,
are weird
I
enough.
will, I will, I will buy them a life-size poster of MODOK that they can hang up in their house. Okay, because that is peak weirdness. Like, come on, like that was so awkward but hilarious. Um, they just there was too much of them. Once they showed them, they couldn't stop showing them. It was like, how much of this guy are we gonna get? And I get it. He's like the killing machine, and like like once he's been shown, the movie gets more into like war and battle and all that, and so like there's more scenes for him to like be there. But he was there a little bit too much too for like the interrogation, and like just the chit chat parts. Like I could have done without those.
I was fine with him being insane. Like that was makes sense, right? Sure. But he doesn't come across as very threatening to me
Right.
at all, especially since he has this reputation.
Right.
That doesn't seem warranted because again, no one dies. Well, maybe not nobody. There's that one weird quantum realm denizen who's got like the flame eye or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dies, but like, who's that?
Right.
I don't know if we ever even got a name for that character.
Right. But
MODOK
like,
was meh.
yeah, he was mad. It was funny for a minute, but then too much, and then him being like the reason that the force field that Kang had around him, like actually like fully breaks, is like, okay, they're making him the hero, and then like that has a hero's death, like redemption arc type deal. I was like, okay, I mean, at least they killed him. I don't have to worry about seeing him ever again. Hopefully,
Yep, there you go. It's
that
gone
was the
forever.
nicest part about that, I think. Um, but yeah, that's it for me. I don't really want to talk about MODOK much at all. I don't know if you have anything else
It
you want to
was
say.
I was nice to get some closure on Darren Cross to find out what happened to him.
Yeah.
Um, I agree. It's a little. I think he's fine to use as a secondary antagonist, as a punching bag for Cassie. I think that was a good idea. Other than that, he's not very threatening, and that face is weird. Yeah, I think as far as all of our major players go, I think that's about everybody. So let's go ahead and
Well,
talk about that.
we didn't really focus on Kang. I mean, we didn't,
Oh, Kang. Yeah.
but
We
like we
talked about
talked
Kang,
about
but
him
yeah,
within
let's
every
talk about
character. We
Jonathan
talked about
Majors
him.
because Jonathan Majors
Yeah,
is the man.
dude, he was so good.
He's the man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am so excited to watch everything else that he's in, because like he is fantastic. And like playing all the different variants at the very end was like incredible. That was like
cool.
that was really cool.
Was not expecting that.
Yeah, and then the extra credit scene with Loki, Mobius.
Morbius. Or yeah, Mobius, not
dude.
Morbius.
Dude, that was really cool, right? Because like they're like old times, right? They're like way in the past, looking at a really earlier version of, or who knows what earlier or later.
Yeah,
We
what's
don't know
going
what
on
version.
there?
We don't know what version
Yeah.
of Kang that is, and we don't know if it's Kang the Conqueror or if it's a different one of the variants, right? We just know that it's one of the Kang variants.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a badass. Like that was what was one of the cooler things, right? Was like the end credit scenes were really awesome.
Yeah,
to kind
they
of
were
really give
top
you
notch.
some info about what's to come.
The Council of Kangs.
Yeah, the Council of Kangs, insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jonathan Majors was totally awesome.
I agree with you as far as we could have done more to give that character some more gravitas.
Yeah.
Make him a little scarier. Take one of our heroes away. I think that would have been a good move. But
Yeah.
outside of that, Jonathan Majors, just every scene that he's in, it's fire. He's just really. It was neat to get that comparison between him and He Who Remains, right? Such a different take on the performances, and then we get 3 more different takes at the end.
Insane.
He's just a treasure of an actor. Can't wait to see more of him. Okay, so for the record, I forgot to talk about this. So it is not clear to me exactly why Kang can't get out of the quantum realm. Like, I understand like why he needs his thing to power his ship, right? But like MODOK takes Cassie's signal. He's able to figure out who's on the other end of the signal, which that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's able to shrink them into the quantum realm. Like, he's able to do that. So like what's the problem here? Like, why doesn't this door work both ways? Like, if you can do that,
right?
I feel like either A, it was addressed, I just missed it. And if that's the case, then I don't think it was addressed very well. Or B, it just wasn't addressed, which I think it was.
I think you're right. I thought about that too. I don't think it was addressed. He was able to bring them in, but it wasn't a two-way door. But oh my God, if it wasn't a two-way door, then how come Cassie was able to create a two-way door?
Right. Later. Like
after.
Right. Exactly. Because like they said, like that feels like a plot hole.
Huge plot hole, actually.
Yeah. We arrived at the end here. So just discussing this film and how you feel about it ultimately, I think we're both under the opinion that we liked it. But where does it fall for you in terms of other Marvel films, and what's your grade or what's your score on it out of 10? Or no, we do out of 5 for movies, right?
Shoot, I don't remember.
I believe so. Yeah, we do
5 for movies.
Yeah,
10
TV series 10. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's funny. I was grading it the opposite way before we got on, so now I have to really think about what my grade's going to be. Man, this is a tough one to grade out of 5. So as far as where it ranks, I wouldn't put it in my top 10. That's very hard to get in anyway, especially after all the movies they've made. But
it's a crowded party.
I definitely liked it, and it's definitely one that I would put on like the rewatchable list. Like, I do have to watch it a second time to confirm that, but I do think that it's one of those. It's like, actually, you know what? This is like, it was Jonathan Majors' performance is so good that like that alone would get me to hit play and rewatch this film multiple times just to watch his first iteration of Kang, like was the Conqueror, rather, right? Like, him alone will get me to be like, I want to watch this film just because his performance is so damn badass. And the quantum realm is so cool and weird that like it's a fun world to explore for 2 hours. So definitely ranks up there just from a rewatchable standpoint. I can't give you like I guess probably top 20, but that's not really hard to say, right? Like, I mean, what is there, like 40 movies now, 45, like top 20 is not really that hard to
I think for films go, I think this was 25. I think 26.
No, there's more than that, isn't there?
So we were at 21 with Endgame, and then Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. Oh, geez. Thor, Wakanda. Oh, wow. It is closer to 40 than I thought, or 30 than I thought. Quantum Realm. So 29 films.
Right. So yeah, I'd put it it's in the top 20, but it's not really hard to get in because there's only 29. But yeah, I liked it. Score wise, I want to give it a 4 out of 5, but I can't. And I think I have to do 3.75 is probably what I give it. And that's a respectable score for the first movie of phase 5, I think. Like it would have a 4 or more if Kang was more of a victor in the end, right? Because I think that really needed to happen in some cases for like to really
we didn't see him conquer.
we didn't really see him conquer, right? And so
Yeah.
that's probably why it doesn't get 4 or more. But I think 3.75 is respectable. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I think it did a great first step of phase 5, I think. Yeah, I'm super excited for what's going to happen. Like, I cannot wait for season 2 of Loki. Like, please come out tomorrow. Like, like I'm like more excited for the TV show than I am for a lot of the films coming up, I think. Like,
I think I agree with your assessment on ranking this on the lower part of a top 20. I think that's fair. It's probably my favorite Ant-Man film for what that's worth.
yeah, I think I agree with you there for sure.
Yeah. As far as a film goes, yeah, it's got issues. But as a Marvel film, far from the worst. I think I probably would have graded this higher actually before our conversation.
Yeah.
But now that I've really like sat down and thought about it, 3.75 I think is fair.
Nice.
3.75. Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's okay.
I think it's the first time we've had the same score.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first time, but like
this we're like usually pretty different.
Like, this is the first time where it's like we definitely agree, like 100% on the score on what they should get. Nice. Yeah. I think I agree with you there too. Like I would have given it probably a 4 before our convo, because like even just talking about it was like made me realize a couple more things. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? They definitely missed here and there.
Missed opportunity.
But yeah, really good, really enjoyable. I cannot wait to watch it again.
But yeah, next on the list, I guess as far as Marvel goes, Secret Invasion. But I don't know, might have a movie. Random movie between now and then. So we'll see. All right. Well, with that, we're going to bring this session of May the Review Be With You to an end. We'll catch you all next time. And as always, may the review be with you. Peace.